Welcome back. We are going through the Smart presentation template, and we are creating on Hello Smart using our awesome features that we learned about in the last video. I'm still on the presentation that we created before, and so what we're going to do is we're going to now create from a pre-made lesson. Let's say that I'm doing this and I say, you know what? Actually, I just realized I had a lesson presentation all set up before. I want to use that instead because I don't really like the way that I'm creating this. Maybe I can improve on a past presentation. So I'm going to finish here. So I'm going to click on Finish Editing, and that will save my draft. Okay. And if I like my presentation, I can keep it, or I can go to Delete, as we saw before. Or if I think it's great, I can share it. I can make a copy, either one. But in this video, we are going to talk about how can we create using a pre-made lesson slide. So I'm going to go to Add Activities, and I'm going to import an old lesson that I created. I used to create, personally, used to create Smart Notebook assignments or presentations all the time. And I haven't done it recently, but I want to maybe recreate one because I know that I'm going to teach a certain unit. So I'm going to go all the way back. I'm going to go back to some of my previous lessons. I'm going to go to pre-calculus, which I haven't taught in a few years. And I'm going to go to Unit 6, well, maybe not Unit 6. I want to go to Unit 4. Yes, Unit 4. Okay, my lecture notes. I'm going to click on that, and I happen to upload a Smart Notebook. Okay, there are some advantages to Smart Notebook. The 3 different choices that I have is I can upload a PowerPoint, I can upload a PDF, or a Smart Notebook. Smart Notebook is a little bit easier in the sense that everything will look pretty much lined up, and there's a lot more flexibility. Okay, as you'll see as my video is setting up, there are certain things that I've written in. I've written in some titles, I put it in some slides, I've put in some pictures. And the benefits of using Smart Notebook is I can move them around. If I were to just upload a PowerPoint, I would be shown a picture of what that PowerPoint is, right? So if you are like me currently, who's using Google Slides, I can definitely go to Google Slides right now. I can go to my drive, and this is my teacher drive, and I can start looking at one of my previous presentations that I've created, and that's if we can load. And I can go from there and I can download as a PowerPoint or as a PDF. Okay, and here's an example here. I taught this earlier today to our 6th grade students. This is one of our competitive math classes. So I can maybe take this Google slide that I used today. I did use this using Pear Deck, or maybe you just use slides or any type of presentation, PowerPoint. And I'm going to go to File, again, once it loads, and I can download it, right, as a PowerPoint or as a PDF. Okay, those are the supported types. So PowerPoint or PDF. And I can then download it. I can then upload it to our Smart Learning Suite platform. Okay, we're still setting up our lesson here. Now, the only issue is, and here's my problem, like I said, is that notice how I have a bunch of text here. I have a bunch of things that I created for the lesson, right? And I can move it around in slides. The only problem is if I upload this, this will come up as a page. Okay, so there's a lot of material that I maybe posted here that I can move around. However, if I post this to Smart Notebook or to the Smart Learning Suite, it's just going to be posted as a picture or as a background that I can't really edit or manipulate. So just keep that in mind. If you don't mind that, if you're okay with that, and maybe it's just information, you don't really need to change any of the slides, then hey, this definitely works. There's nothing wrong with it. Just keep those details in mind. All right, we're going to go back to set up our lesson in perfect timing. Now we have our lesson created, okay? And again, this is an old unit. I don't remember specifically. It looks like we were talking about trigonometry. And I have a lot of questions here. Okay, so I'm going to do the same steps I did before. This is pre-made, but I can start inserting some questions. Okay, what are degrees? And maybe I think in my original creation, I did make this as kind of a a introduction to our skill where I kind of talked about it, but you know what? Maybe this time I want the students to talk about it. So I'm going to go to shout it out, and I am going to add a question, and I don't have to, but I can. I'm going to put, what do you say degrees are? Okay, and students can contribute texts or images. Maybe I just want them to do an image or a text, and we can do up to 3 per student. Maybe you just want students to do one, and then we can either hide or show our student names. So maybe you want your students to, demonstrate what they know. You on your teacher dashboard will always see their names, but maybe students are a little more shy and they don't want to answer if they know that my name is going to be up there. So maybe I'll hide it, right? That way students can feel comfortable with saying maybe something like, I think degrees are yada, yada, yada. Or maybe I don't really know much about degrees. Can you teach me more? So we can be a little bit more honest with that. Okay. All right. We can click on our classic theme, or we can use a custom theme. That just means uploading a picture. But in this case, we don't really need to do that. Okay. All right. So I would be doing a shout it out with our slide, what are degrees? Okay. Moving on. So I'm going to look at a few more slides. Looks like these are some informational slides. Maybe I want to include a video again. And we'll, as we said before, we can go to YouTube and I can go to what are degrees? Okay, and I'll just pick the first one. We'll just input this and we'll play that. Okay. All right, so I'm going to keep scrolling, and this is a great example. So here I have this. This is the unit circle. And again, I don't know too much about my presentation. This is just something I came up with very quickly, something that I uploaded from the past, but I definitely want to edit it. So it looks like here, I have an option for students to write in what the ratio should be. There should be little ratios that they're inputting in each of these parentheses. So I'm going to go again to convert to activity. So let me convert this to an activity. And in this case, I can either create a workspace, a collaborative workspace, so we're going to work on this together, or I'm going to create this as an individual handout. And I'm going to create that as an individual handout. I want to know that each student knows how to do this, okay? And this might be my assessment. This might be my exit ticket. And the cool thing is we can preview it, okay? And again, we can see the ways that we can write in our answers, okay? All right. And I can rename this. Maybe I'll call this exit ticket. And we'll call this the unit circle. All right. And notice how nothing has changed, just like the last video we saw. All we have to do here is just continue just introducing questions. We can edit, we can change things. Again, maybe I want to ask a question here. How do we evaluate these? Then maybe I'm going to convert this to an activity, and then we can make this a workspace activity. Or maybe I want to just add a question here after these questions that I did. I talked about the unit circle, so maybe I want a response from students. Okay, maybe I want a short answer response. So I'll go to add content and short answer, and I'll input what is the unit circle. What's your short answer? Okay. And we'll put in our answers. And the cool thing is also, if I go back here, maybe I want to know, or maybe there's a correct answer I'm looking for. What is the unit circle? It is a circle with a radius. All right, that's a little too long. So we're going to say radius of 1. So maybe that's a key phrase I'm looking for. So that will be something that's graded by the presentation. Okay. Okay. So once I'm done editing, I'm going to click on Finish Editing. and it will be there. And notice how it has the same name because everything was just uploaded from what I had. And again, if I want to share this with someone, I can click on share link, etc. All right, in the next video, we're going to show actually our presentation of this. I'll show you a created lesson that I made, and we will go through the actual steps of presenting to our students. We'll see you in that video.